Joining us, California Attorney General Rob Bonta, who helped lead a multi-state effort to block Donald Trump's order to limit birthright citizenship. So the executive order did not work. The Supreme Court said you can't unilaterally change the Constitution. How are you feeling today, AG?
We're feeling great. It's an affirmation of the arguments we made since day one of this president's second term, when he issued this unlawful executive order and tried with the stroke of the pen to rewrite the U.S. Constitution, something he cannot do. We said he was wrong then. We've won in every court. Every court that's weighed in on this issue has found for our position and against the president. And now the highest court in the land has affirmed the position we took from day one and put this issue to bed. Birthright citizenship is clear on its face. If you're born on American soil, you're an American. All the talk about whether parents are permanently domiciled or temporarily present are only parts of the dissents here. The majority opinion tracks almost exactly the arguments that we made from day one here. And I'll add, I was in the courtroom when this case was taken up by the U.S. Supreme Court. I was sitting in the same row as President Trump, who, as you know, was the first sitting president ever to personally attend a U.S. Supreme Court oral argument. And he bore witness to a humiliating defeat in which one of his centerpiece immigration policies was struck down. And it was important for him to witness that, to be in the courtroom and see the rule of law in action and the importance of complying with the law and the U.S. Constitution. The U.S. Supreme Court's decision today is an affirmation of the rule of law and the idea that the president is not a king and he's subject to the most powerful document in our American democracy, the U.S. Constitution.
Yeah, as the Solicitor General tried to argue it's a new world, only to get smacked back down by the Chief Justice saying, yes, but it's the same Constitution.
Right.
I mean, given that, I wonder if you're looking at the Supreme Court a little bit differently today. And the reason I say this is, although they have expanded executive power, presidential power, they've given Donald Trump a whole lot of new authorities. They've given the executive a whole lot of new authorities, and they've given both parties the ability to spend more money in politics today. And we're going to get to the campaign finance side of this. I mean, this is stuff that will eventually benefit a Democrat, too, when a Democrat wins again, or if Democrats have majorities. On Donald Trump's two key attempts to rewrite the rules, birthright citizenship and tariffs, this Supreme Court has said no to him specifically. So do you see the court differently today?
Let me also add they struck him down on his National Guard deployment as well, on a very substantive order on the emergency docket. So he's lost on some of his major initiatives in front of this U.S. Supreme Court. Do I see the U.S. Supreme Court differently? I've always thought and always believed if on any case that we bring where we believe the facts and the law are in our favor, we have a great chance in front of this U.S. Supreme Court and any court, because that's what courts do. They interpret the law. They apply the law to the facts. We've been very successful, even though this is a U.S. Supreme Court with 3 Trump appointees, and they were considering some of Trump's centerpiece economic policies on tariffs, immigration policies, birthright citizenship, policies with respect to deployment of the National Guard. He called them his public safety policies. He lost on all of them in front of the U.S. Supreme Court. But look, I don't want to sugarcoat it. This is the U.S. Supreme Court who's issued decisions that I've been very disappointed with. The Dobbs decision, overruling Roe versus Wade, the Bruen decision on the Second Amendment, the decision yesterday in the Slaughter case, which gave some emboldened the unitary executive theory, which I think is a fringe theory, which should not be countenanced. So I guess it's a mixed bag. But when we have the law and the facts on our side, as we did on birthright citizenship, put us in front of any court, including this.
So I wonder if you welcome what the president suggested today, which is if he's trying to change the Constitution, go to Congress to change the Constitution, to add an amendment. Is it time that we start doing that more?
I mean, it's always been an option, and
it's always been an option, but we haven't used it in decades.
Because it's hard by design. How are you going to get 2/3 votes in each house? Maybe you can, and then 3/4 of the states to ratify. Maybe you can, But those are high thresholds, not by accident, by design, but intentional. It's supposed to be hard, and it should be hard to amend the U.S. Constitution. But are there times when we should? Obviously, absolutely. Look at the 13th Amendment, the 14th Amendment, the 15th Amendment. Change the course of this country in a good way, appropriately so. So is there that moment now? Maybe, but it shouldn't be some way to casually address a decision made by the U.S. Supreme Court, which affirms the 14th Amendment, which is where the citizenship clause is from, on the birthright citizenship issue. I think Trump is just trying to do what he always does, pretend that a humiliating loss is a win or that there's some sort of silver lining. There's not.
Yeah.
He got crushed every time. He lost badly, and he needs to accept it.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you, but I do think that when you have broad majorities of Americans who want guns to be limited, access to guns in this country, broad majorities of Americans who believe in the access to abortion, broad majorities of Americans who want campaign finance reform, I guess I wonder whether the threshold to changing the Constitution has become a little too out of reach. When there's just so much money impacting politics and people are so entrenched within Washington in the division because the division keeps them in office. Is it now too hard for us, regular people, to change the system?
I think the people always have the final word. And if enough folks, if a critical mass of folks across this country want these changes are they're possible, they're attainable. As we've seen in the past, there have been many constitutional amendments, as you say, not any in some time. But if the people of this country want to address Citizens United, they want to address Dobbs and its overruling of Roe versus Wade, they want to address the Bruen decision and what it means for gun safety or lack thereof in our communities, in our schools, for our children, in our neighborhoods, we may, and perhaps we should. But it's a heavy lift, and I don't disagree that it should be a heavy lift, but it's not an impossible lift. And on the right issues, at the right moments, with the right critical mass, it's possible.
All right. A.G. Rob Bonta from California, the great state of California.
Absolutely.
My favorite state of California.